Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Football Family Feuds. And today I'm going to be speaking about Roman Abramovich. A couple of weeks ago, I did a video on Roman Abramovich saying that he had been granted a UK visa, so that he'll be back in the country real soon. In fact, that wasn't the case. A couple of media outlets jumped the gun a little bit, and so the news that was reported is false. So apologies if I have given people hope that he's coming back, but not to say that he won't apply in the future, but at this moment he hasn't actually applied for a visa. In the news today, we hear about Putin's government have resigned as Putin is looking at reforms in Russia. So this may affect the situation. If these reforms are positive and it's viewed positive by the Western world, then relationships may improve between the West and Russia, and you may see Russians coming back into the country again. So watch this space and we'll see what happens on that score. But okay, although Abramovich isn't coming back into the country anytime soon, the good news is that he's still very much invested in the Chelsea project. Reports have come out that despite Roman Abramovich being absent from Stamford Bridge for the last 2 years, he still pumped in a whooping £247 million into the club. Yes, you heard that right, guys. £247 million of his own money has been pumped into the club. So that tells me that Roman Abramovich is still very much invested in this project, and he's also ready to put money in if the right players become available. But with all this good news about Roman, at the end of the year we posted our financials, and it doesn't make very good reading. We had a loss of £96.6 million during the last financial year. The year before that, I think the 2 years before that, we had profits, but this year we've recorded a loss. And a lot of it can be accredited to a few factors. We spent a lot of money, believe it or not, during the last season. We spent a whooping £280 million in transfers. So that includes the transfers of Arrizabalaga, who's the world's most expensive goalkeeper. I don't know why, but yeah. And also we spent money on Jorginho, and that was under the last manager, Sarri. And although we are under a transfer ban, we still completed the move of Pulisic. We were quite smart on that one because we bought him in the January window to come to play for us this season. And we also had an option to buy Mateo Kovacic, who was 40 million at the time. So we exercised that option, and so that's why we've had that amount of money in player and purchases. We didn't sell a lot last season, but the players that we have actually sold, because some players, people may say, okay, we've sold Hazard and we've sold Morata, but that hasn't come out of last season's financials or last year's financials. It's coming out of this year's financials. So this year is going to be a lot more profitable because obviously we've got the Hazard money coming in, which can be up to £150 million with add-ons. I think we've got the 50 odd million pounds that we sold Morata for. So there is money, guys. So it's not all doom and gloom because there is money to spend on players. We're back in the Champions League. Another factor was that we weren't in the Champions League. So even by winning the Europa League, I still think we're about 30 or 40 million down on revenue for not being in the Champions League. So that's why it's important that we make the Champions League. But the other thing is that we still have to balance the books, guys. So we kind of adopted in the past a one in, one out policy, and I still think we'll be selling players so that we can keep the books balanced. The other thing what came out as well, which I'm not happy about, is that Tottenham have now overtaken us in the Forbes money list. We're down to 9th now. Tottenham are in 8th place, we're down to 9th. That's probably the first time that Tottenham have been above us in anything, you know, for what, 20 odd years now. So the reason is, I think obviously as well, is Tottenham have moved into a new stadium, so they've got increased match revenue, but plus they've been consistently in the Champions League. I think the 3 or 4 seasons in the Champions League. So that proves how, once again, how important it is to be playing in the Champions League on a regular basis. So that's why I think we need to probably get in a couple of players in this window just to try and cement our place in the top 4, because at the end of the day, if we miss out because of an injury, say to Abraham, and we haven't got a striker who can come in and replace him, then we'll be saying, why didn't we get another striker in? So as I said, it's difficult because there's not a lot available at the moment, and the ones who we want are not available. But there is a guy that a lot of people haven't spoken about a lot, and his name's Jovic. Jovic is at Real Madrid. Hasn't played a lot for Real Madrid. He's out of favour at Real Madrid. He was superb last season when we played in the Europa League when he was at Eintracht Frankfurt. Can we go in with a cheeky bid for him? A loan move, for instance? If we can get him on loan, a 6-month loan, see how he works out with maybe an option to buy, then that could be one of the answers to our problems, because Giroud is definitely going. It's just a matter of days now. It's probably going to be announced by the weekend. There's only a few financial details to sort out in that deal. Chelsea want topped at least 7 million euros for him. So I think Inter are offering 5.5 or something. So there's a couple of millions out, but I think Chelsea, because they paid off Conte, and that's another thing I've got to talk about. I'll talk about that in a minute, because they paid off Conte, and Conte is now the manager of Inter. They probably want to get top dollar for Giroud. That's talking about Conte. It just reminded me, as I said, that another reason why we posted that loss is because we have to pay out Conte's managerial team, and obviously he took us to court as well, so he won that battle, so we got to pay him more money. So I think it was about £26 million, £28 million for Conte. And over the years, Abramovich has paid off over £100 million on by sacking managers. So I think he's learnt from that, because when Sarri left, he was smart. He didn't sack Sarri. Sarri had to resign because he wanted the Juventus job. So in fact, we actually got managed. I think it's the first time ever that we've actually gained money from a manager leaving, because Juventus had to pay us compensation for him. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see Abramovich doing a lot of firing these days now, because as I said, it's just costing the club too much money for all these hiring and firing of managers. So all these people are saying, oh, we should get rid of Frank Lampard if results don't go our way. They've got to think about the money that it's going to be costing to pay these managers off. So there you have it, guys. So that's a quick look at our financials, and as I said, a quick look at Roman Abramovich. But once again, Abramovich is not here at the moment, but still loves the club, still invested in the club, and he'll still carry on to do his best to move the club forward. So guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on all notifications, and I'll see you on the next video.